sure you check out our new sponsor, the Health Blaze. All the information is in the description. Use the promo code above. Goodfellow One Boxing at 18% off of all their natural products from deodorant, pomade, toothpaste, and much, much more. And they have additional discounts on their website as well. That's thehealthblaze.com. Starting December 20th. That promo code is good for 18% off. We go. Rick Ross says that 50 Cent ain't that dude no more. He told Big Boy on the radio show. I'll link the clip in the description. I'll try to find the full video if it's on YouTube so you can watch the full interview. Appreciate everybody for checking back in. Goodfellow Sports TV. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And, did Rick Ross rekindle the 50 Cent beef? And he went on the Big Boy Morning Show, or the Big Boy Show in general, and said that, he was asked, would you and, 50 Cent, would you consider putting the beef to the side and doing a record with 50 Cent? Now, he did a record, and apparently he had Lil Wayne, Pusha T on the record or something, or whatever it was, Pusha T and Drake on the record or whatever, and they both didn't know about it, but they both cleared it. But he said, I guess unless they really, really make up or they really put their differences aside and just didn't clear it for the hell of clearing it, that I guess he not going to put it out. You know what I'm saying? But, and he was asked like, okay, what about you and 50? Since you want to put people on the record without clearing it and you want them to settle their differences, what about you and 50? And then we just had Fat Joe kind of do an interview and Irv Gotti cussed him out for trying to make 50 and Ja Rule, settle the differences. But Rick Ross said he a businessman. He said, I'm a businessman. And he says that if 50 Cent still was that dude, if he still was making quality and good music, he said, no doubt. He said, if Drake hit me up, I got 50 on the record, you want to hop on it? He said, I'll hop on it. But 50 Cent ain't that dude no more. He said, we was just listening to Hater to Lover yesterday. I guess he said they was smoking. He said that was a hot record. He said if 50 was making music like that still, that, then they can collaborate. He said he's still on fire. He said Cool and Dre did the production on Hater to Love It. He said that's Miami. But 50 Cent is an old dude, old has been. He ain't got the bars no more. He ain't say all that, but he ain't got the swag no more on the mic. He said he'd have came and fell off. Now, could Rick Ross be saying that to really, push his album, Port of Miami 2, and give it an extra push? Now, I've been waiting on this album. The first one, when it came out, I was in like the 11th grade, I think I was in, or the 10th grade. And it was just fire. We would come home after hoop season, after football and hoop season, come to my man's crib, play Madden or whatever was out, basically Madden. And we would bang that album, Chameleonaire Sound of Revenge, and a few other albums. But those two was heavy in rotation, especially Port of Miami. So he said he's still making quality music. Now I feel like Rose done fell off, you know what I'm saying? Because he ain't really putting nothing out. He doing business ventures. He got the Wingstop, lemon pepper wings, And it feel like he done fell off, you know what I'm saying? But really, he ain't really had no whack album. That last album he dropped, that was great production. Imagine if, I say this with all seriousness, I love Nas. He a top 5 MC in my opinion, right? But imagine if Rick Ross picked, Nas's production. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Nas might be the greatest MC of all time. Soul's Tape 2, the Lost Tape 2, that was straight. But Rick Ross, he got great production. He said, I'm willing to put my differences aside, but not with no whack MCs like 50 Cent. And is he right? Is 50 Cent done? Yeah. For me, 50 Cent 2 best albums was Get Rich or Die Trying and then The Power of a Dollar. The Massacre, it was cool, but it wouldn't live up to expectations. It sold all them records and people was expecting Get Rich or Die Trying 2. Now, could he have done a lot worse as a follow-up studio album? Absolutely, he could have done a lot worse. But my favorite, was, Get Rich or Die Trying, Power of a Dollar, Get Rich or Die Trying, the soundtrack, and The Massacre was cool. We need this a little bit. Turn around, baby girl, just a little bit. Take you to the candy shop. I mean, he had this Ja Rule, right? And then he started doing what Ja Rule do. That was the crazy thing. Okay? Now, if 50 Cent gonna blast back on social media, he'll find a way. But guess what? Truth be told, he an Instagram comedian now. He done mailed Wendy Williams Instagram telling people business. You know, and he got a lot of snitch tendencies. I'll leave it at that. Putting people business out there, doing a lot of snitch tendency things. You know what I'm saying? But with 50, Rick Ross handled him in that beef. You know, people forget it. Ja Rule and Fat Joe and Jadakiss handled it. You know, Jadakiss and them did their thing. They held it down for New York. You know what I'm saying? But Ja Rule rated to the 23rd and a half hour. Fat Joe, they tried to do We Gonna Clap Back. He talked a little bit shit about Nas running into Feclease Milkshake, and he had him on Piggy Bank running into the ice cream truck. Then, if you ever heard the real version of that song, he got I'm trying to remember the song. It was on the Get Rich or Die Trying soundtrack. He had bass. Window Shopper. I don't know why I slipped my mind. That's one of my favorite 50 songs. And they say, Joe, you a window. He said Joe and Ja name. But they really had to go down south to Miami for somebody to handle Rick Ross. Now, people love 50 Cent as a personality, you know, as far as like an Instagram personality. They love what he did with Power. But really, when you look inside of it, he got beat by Rick Ross. He got defeated by Rick Ross. You know what I'm saying? He said you burned the house down. You left the gas can. Now you gotta buy another. Rick Ross and Mafia music, he was handling 50. 50 couldn't do nothing musically with Ross. Now people say, well, Ross, Officer Ricky. You had all that on Rick Ross, and 50 Cent couldn't do better. Officer Ricky, Albany State, Officer Ricky. He went to Albany State, I think he was. He quit the football team the first 2 weeks. And a lot of things like that. This is OG beef like Quick and DJ Quick and MC8 that should have been buried. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard to bury beef of 50 Cent. I would never ask Ja Rule and Irv and Chris Gotti and Murder Inc. to bury the beef with 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? You know, just the depth of that beef, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? The depth of it was just, it was no coming back from it. You know what I'm saying? But for Ross and 50, you would think it'd move by because Ross be, you know, saying it, but he was asked a question. He didn't come out and kind of say 50 name, but 50 gonna have something to say. But real talk, his baby mama sued 50 in the court. He claimed bankruptcy or something allegedly. But, you know, Ross, you know, at the end of the day, to be honest, Ross has had a more complete career than 50 Cent. 50 Cent might have had the hotter album. The two hotter, Rivers Should Die Trying, is a classic. I'm not sure what you consider Rick Ross album a classic, from Port of Miami to Trilla, Teflon Don, to a number of them. 50 Cent, he got the top heavy, Rich Richard Die Trying. And if you from New York streets, you know from the streets, Givers, you know, Power Dollar was dope. And then The Massacre sold a ton. His commercial success and his rap classic success with Give Richard Die Trying, he's able to have an immortal pass through rap. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like Snoop and Doggy Style. That gave Snoop an immortal pass through rap. You know, Dre had things he done with Easy and NWA. He innovated that whole sound. But the Chronic, I think that marked the beginning of commercial rap. But he'll always be known for people that grew up in the 90s and 80s and stuff. He was known for the Chronic. The Chronic revolutionized rap and it made it commercial appeal if you go back in history. Some people just have a dope first album and they follow up with pretty good things. And Drake followed up with another classic with 2001 Chronic. But they're able to be immortal due to their albums. And people look at 50, especially New York people that know with the Ghetto Crime and all that, Power Dollar. And then his studio album, Get Rich or Die Trying. And then, you know, Massacre, commercial success. Like, you know, people would say on the surface, 50 Cent career was legend. It was short, rap-wise, and he done what he supposed to do in the business game, just like Ross did. But it's interesting, man. You know, it's real interesting, but, you know, he said what he said. And, you know, it'll make 50 Cent more relevant, I guess, if he want to jump on it. But truth be told, Rick Ross beat him in a battle. It don't make him have a better rap career. It don't make him a better rapper than me. I mean, you know, just based off that, he beat 50. New York, you know, Jadakiss was doing his business, but really commercially, it was Rick Ross that handled 50. And it was one of the silent L's in rap history, though, in my opinion. You know, but, hey, it is what it is. He said what he said. I'll link the source in the description on the source link and check it out. The exact little clip. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. Promo code GoodFellowWhenBoxing to 18% off the 100% all natural products, lotion, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, deodorant, toothpaste, hair pomade, much more. Website, promo code, description. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You want to reach out to the email. That all those links there, man. Hit me up. Share the videos. Best donation you can make. One time for the one time. Goodfellow Sports TV. Let me know what you guys